I'm not lean, and I'm certainly not strong. And by no means am I training optimally, but I have been able to keep that dad bod at bay after all of these years. And that's exactly what today's video is about. I'm taking you through a complete week of my training, real training that you can actually stick to. This isn't a powerlifting review. This is dad training that works. The No Fate channel, checking in. Jonathan here, and the best dad bod destroyer program isn't the perfect one. It's the one that you can stick to day in, day out, month after month after month. Currently, I am running a push-pull leg split, commonly referred to as a PPL, and that allows me to actually hit every body part twice every 8 days. And I'm gonna take you through why it's probably the best workout program if you have a hectic lifestyle. If you're over 40 like I am, you got kids, you got a job, you got responsibilities, you got the house to take care of, and everything else in between. Well, when you do a push-pull legs, you can run it a number of different ways and it still will be effective. If you only want to train 3 days a week, you don't have to train more than that. You could do push, pull, and then legs. If for some reason you want to hit 6 days a week all in a row and set up your week consistently so that you know every Monday you're going to do a push, followed by a pull, followed by legs. Yep, you can do that too. And if you're like me and you're a little bit older, you need a bit more rest, you can do push, pull, legs, rest, and then repeat the process. And when life throws you those little hiccups, like your kid brought home the flu and gave it to everybody else in the house, and you currently can't train for like 5 or 6 days, you don't have to worry about where your program is and which week you're on. If you're doing hypertrophy, if you're doing a deload, you simply just pick up with the next day. So if you finished working out on a push day, it's been 7 days, you pick up with a pull day. And the beauty is you can just kind of rotate these as needed. You don't have to do PPL, you could do PLP, you could do LPP, it doesn't matter. It will work with your schedule. It's gonna work with everything life can throw your way. And a push-pull leg split, especially if you're trying to run it twice a week or twice every 8 days like I am, allows you to train really hard but still keep those workouts short in time. You can get in, hit it, and then quit it. And remember, at this point in our lives, consistency beats perfection all the time. The only thing you need to worry about when it comes to this split is actually overtraining. If you're not sleeping enough or eating right, or you've got a ton of stress, going hard in the paint with your workouts, because I know many of you that are around my age still have that more is better mindset, and that's gonna catch up to you real quick. Ask me how I know. Starting off on leg day, word of warning, none of you are 16 anymore. You need a proper warm-up and stretch before you start. The more thorough your warm-up, the better your lifts will be. Rushing through your warm-up, especially in the wintertime, will have you finding Snap City in a hurry. I put all of my multi-joint heavy lifts on the front end, with auxiliary exercises and a drop set or two towards the end. I finish the whole thing off with light cardio on the bike. I find this helps recovery, allows me to prolong that sweat, and if I do it right after my workout, I won't have to find an excuse to skip it later in the day. Huge thanks to the sponsor of today's video, Kensui. Been in business since 2018, and they were kind enough to let me beat the absolute tar out of these chrome calibrated weight plates. Yes! These calibrated weight plates are way nicer than my mediocre lifts warrant. They have that instant shine that makes you do a double take almost immediately. And they've got laser etching on here and a colored edge for you to be able to quickly identify it. And they've got a nice lip here for you to get your hands on in terms of loading and unloading this. Plus, I already mentioned they're calibrated. The accuracy on these things is phenomenal. Now, if you're an average lifter like me, an average Joe, an average dad, you probably don't need calibrated plates. But hey, it's nice to know that when you load the bar with the 45-pound plate, it's actually 45 pounds on there. And these plates are thin. How thin do you ask? Well, the 45-pound plates come in at 19 millimeters. And for those of you who love your freedom units, that's 3/4 of an inch. Now, if you're an average lifter like I am, an average Joe, an average dad, yes, you're gonna have plenty of bar space for whatever plates you have. But believe it or not, thin plates come in handy a lot more than you'd think. If you've got plate-loaded machines in your home gym, yes, you're gonna want thin plates to make sure that you can get enough weight on there to actually feel it. Also, if you are using a gym pin and you wanna put extra weight on your cable machine, having thin plates matters. Now, when loading and unloading these plates, their tolerances are exceptionally tight.
Tight like this.
It's gonna fit nice and tight on your bar, and that's gonna create less slop when you are lifting, a better experience. It will also make it a little bit louder when you're loading and unloading. So if you love that clang and bang sound, that's up your alley. If you happen to be a parent or you happen to be someone who wants to keep the noise down in their home gym, yes, that may be an issue. What's the downside when it comes to these premium weight plates? Well, for some of you, you love to just slap your plates, throw them on, pull them off, quick and easy. Because these are so thin, you are gonna have to take your time with them. You're gonna have to use two hands even to lift the 45s. In fact, I need two hands to lift the 25s because they are so ultra thin, so smooth and so shiny. They do have a lip here that allows you to get a little bit of your fingers in, but clearly it's not like those deep dish plates where you could just kind of scoop them up with a few fingers and throw them on the bar. Now, if you are deadlifting and you happen to deadlift 5 or 6 plates on each side, that could be a nuisance. For most of us, taking an extra second or two to load a plate on isn't gonna be much of a hassle. Now, the other issue is that these premium, beautiful, shiny, chrome calibrated plates are made out of chrome. So when you load the plates in, you're gonna get like a resonance. They're gonna chime, they're gonna ding. And again, if you like that clang and bang sound, it is music to your ears. But if you like to have a quieter home gym to respect your neighbors or to make sure your kids stay sleeping, it would be an issue. And the biggest issue, the one that you are gonna care the most about, the one that might be a deal breaker for those of you watching at home, is one you've already guessed. The cost. You are getting a premium calibrated weight plate on a budget. It just doesn't happen. It's just not realistic. And if you want nice things, you've got to pay the man his money. Currently on their website, which I will link in the description, a 265-pound set will run you $4.15 per pound. Damn! And if you're a weakling like me, that doesn't really add up too quickly. But man, oh man, if you happen to be a grayback gorilla, that's gonna set you back a serious chunk of change. Now, to put that $4.15 per pound into perspective, if you wanna go budget and you buy something brand new offline, and I do mean budget, you're usually looking at over $1 a pound. Typically, when you go something more middle of the road, you're at that $2 to $2.50 a pound, and it does go up from there. So while $4.15 does sound like a lot, because these are premium and for everything they deliver, it's just reasonable. And the beauty is, when you buy something like this, it's literally gonna last you forever. I can't say that enough. I mean, these things are gonna look pristine in your home gym long after you're gone.
Forever.
Pull day just happens to be my longest workout. I do back, buys, traps, and rear delts all in one go. I try to keep the rest periods on the bigger lifts between 90 and 120 seconds, and then at the end with the auxiliary stuff, I bring it down to a minute. Rep scheme will vary, but nothing lower than 6 reps, and almost always in that 8 to 12 range. I know it's cool and fun to go ultra heavy, but it isn't going to get the results you want in terms of tackling that dad bod. Plus, when you go heavy, your ego tends to take the lead, and your body just can't cash that check, and you hit Snap City. You can't train when you're injured, so trying to stay healthy and uninjured goes a long way to reducing that dad bod. I always throw in some abs and lower back in between my sets, and at the very end of the workout, I hit the Echo bike, for some HIIT training, pardon the pun. Again, sneaking the cardio in at the end of my workout isn't fun or ideal, but if I put it off for another time, I just tend to find an excuse not to do it. This channel is fueled by caffeine and affiliate links. When you use those links in the description, they do support the channel and they help me make these honest videos. More importantly, let me know when you use those links so that I can send you just a small token of my appreciation. Rounding out the 3-day split is a push day. Shoulders, chest, and triceps. I don't go too fancy. Put the bigger exercises up front like dumbbell bench press and overhead press. Keep the rest periods under 2 minutes and sneak in abs and cardio. It's not rocket science, but it works. Since tomorrow is a rest day, I tend to tackle my longest cardio session, usually 30 minutes on the elliptical. I find this has the lowest impact on my body, but gets the heart rate in the right zone.
Next on the docket, a much needed rest day. I personally found, at least for my body at my age, 3 days of training hard straight, I need a break. I need to have that complete day off to let my body recover. I would love to hit every body part twice a week, but it's just not in the cards. I feel like twice every 8 days, at least at my age, is pretty good. Now, just because it's a rest day doesn't mean I kind of take the day off. I try to make sure that I get a little bit of extra sleep, if possible, in order to help clear some of that sleep debt I had from earlier in the week, having to try to squeeze in training with life, kids, work, and all that good stuff. And after that, it's Groundhog Day. The program repeats itself into infinity, and I will tell you that it doesn't get boring. It sounds boring, but the reality is I change up the exercises so frequently that no 2 push days are ever the same. I also vary the rep scheme slightly, so that does keep things interesting and also, again, keep my body guessing. I know for so many of you, it may seem mundane, it may seem like a boring schedule, but sometimes having something that's boring, something that's easy to follow, is the best way to stay consistent and to stay training week over week, month over month, year over year.
If you're living a hectic lifestyle and trying to get your training in regularly, you're gonna have to deal with some stuff. You're gonna have to deal with lifting super early, maybe lifting after a long day of work, lifting when you are ultra tired and it's the last thing you want to do. And in those cases, I usually use pre-workout. It's like coffee, but a whole heck of a lot stronger. Do I recommend using pre-workout on every training day? Absolutely not. I think it should be one of those things where less is absolutely more. Now, there's a number of pre-workouts on the market. I'm not gonna steer you towards one versus another. And in fact, a cup of coffee does usually do the trick very, very well. You don't want something with ultra high stims. You don't want something that's gonna give you a heart attack or has weird ingredients that you really don't know what they do, or that it's a company with no name, no backing, no manufacturing practices that you can confirm, no third-party testing. You just wanna make sure that you're going middle of the road. It's called an everyday driver for a reason. Get yourself something with about 200 milligrams of caffeine. It's gonna set you just right and help you break that glass when you've got an emergency. And now it's time. It is time for my final thoughts when it comes to the Kensui Chrome Calibrated weight plates. And do you need ultra premium, smooth, beautiful plates in order to get into phenomenal shape? Absolutely not. But is it nice to have nice things? Yes, it is. And if you love your home gym, if you want to have something that's gonna look beautiful, feel beautiful, have a high level of accuracy, and last you forever, these Kensui Chrome Calibrated plates are up there. I mean, they are top of the top. They're on the premium level for a reason. They come with the premium price tag, but if you want nice things, you gotta be willing to pay for them. There are 2 things that you don't have to pay for, one of which is getting a workout program that absolutely works for your hectic lifestyle. I would certainly recommend a push-pull legs split. There's tons of them online. You can go to the Boost Camp app and get a bunch of them. I'm not selling you anything when it comes to the PPL program. It has worked for me very well, just in terms of looking okay and keeping that dad bod off of my gut and still keeping me in the fight, making sure that I'm not stupid enough to get myself injured, because at my age, a quick injury when you were 16 could put me up for weeks in terms of getting back into the gym. And if you take away anything from today's video, remember, consistency trumps perfection every time, especially at our age. But if you do want perfection, check out the Kensui Chrome Calibrated plates. They are going to be looking, feeling, and lifting beautifully long after you're dead and buried. But you're not dead and buried yet, so do me a favor. Check out these 2 videos, check out the links in the description, and as usual, don't save anything for the trip back.